make a better future for myself. And I don't have shelter. So what should I do?
Very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Makaziwa? Okay, we get the gist of the point. Final say on that one?
I just, if we are all coming up with problems and saying we all need shelter, then we need to find a way to combat all of us who need shelter and stop saying someone wants to own or it's a need. We all need a house. At a later stage, I'll want to have a house, whether be it I'm 18 or 25 years old or 40 years old. The fact is I need a house.
Okay, Thelma, you wanted to respond as well to something?
Yeah, so to the girl who asked about what we can do to help these girls. So, like, as an individual, there's a lot you can do. There are a lot of orphanages out there. There are a lot of disadvantaged communities. It's just left for you to take that step towards donating to them. They're open to donations every time, everywhere. And to Leseho once again, um, you said girls are tricky. So if you already know this, then you should be able to protect yourself. You should be able to control yourself until you're sure that this girl is not someone who's going to trick you into doing something that you didn't originally plan for. Also, like you spoke about girls approaching you in a way that it's hard to say no. In saying no, you don't have to be rude. You can say no in a polite way. Yeah, so saying no doesn't mean that you're a rude person or whatever. It just means that you can't do it. You shouldn't be forced to do something that you don't want to do. Thank you.
Great.
This is to the mother who just talked now, and again the lady at the back. My question is to you people: if the youth of 1976 striked like the way our youth is striking today, if they looted like the way our youth is looting today, do you think we will be celebrating them as we are celebrating them today? That's my question to you. Because it's like every time when we strike, it's no longer strike. A message is not, there's no message that is, yeah. So it's like when we strike, it's a form of destruction. We're going there to destroy. And I just think some people, when they strike, it's not always about going in one mind and one voice. Some people have a mission, and that mission is to go loot, to go steal, and it's never about stealing. And I just think they always steal from people that are not from our country. Just like in the hood, we call them the Pakis, ne? The Pakistans. Yeah. So they always steal for them. That's where I think it comes down to xenophobia. It comes down to one person having a certain mind. They stole my job. So what? This was supposed to be my shop, so I can take it. So yeah.
No, it's okay. We can't have every single little issue tied up, eh? So I'm going to move on a little bit from here. Hi, Cynthia. Unless you have something to say, we'll move the conversation forward. Okay, I want to move the conversation forward actually a little bit. I'll come back to you guys just now, don't worry. Cynthia, you said a couple of things that really fascinated me. You were talking about the difference between traditional weddings and white weddings. And white weddings are about white traditions. And you asked a very interesting question, why it is that we made the English culture so exceptional. And you talk about the black nation being, quote unquote, really, really lost. Now, you know what's interesting about what you said for me as an older South African, I'm 38, is amongst ourselves, when you guys are not in the room, we debate whether you care about questions of race and identity, or whether all you care about is whether you have a roof over your house, an opportunity for a job, whether there's good public transport, and all the material things that can make your life the kind of life that you'd like to live, right? So just tell me a little bit, where does that come from? Was that a paragraph in your speech from an older teacher, someone at home, or was that you speaking? And if so, just reflect for me, just speak from the heart. What are your thoughts on race and race relations in the country?
There was actually me speaking. Basically, I view things differently. And whenever you're by yourself or whenever you're walking around, you see how people do things. And from there, you observe and you learn. So growing up, I've seen it happen. And through that, I went through a lot of readings, which is novels, regardless of novel, even the net also. I feel like we as black people, okay, I am black and I'm proudly black and precise. The thing is, I feel like we as black people, if we only could instill and embrace who we are, we can really go far. Instead of having to embrace something that we're not, having to put someone else's culture forward, being ashamed of yours. Remember one thing, that if you don't know where you're coming from, you'll never have a concrete way forward. Knowing where you're coming from, it will pave a way for you to have like a concrete way forward, so that you know where you're going. So I feel like we as a black nation, we are really losing it. Not that we're losing, we've lost it.
But I've got so many people who say to me, stop talking about race, you CBS. Young people don't see race.
It's not
We need to learn from young people. Apparently, when you walk around, all you see is inner beauty.
Nah, it's not like that. I don't even care. Like something if I can say something, like I don't use makeup. I don't apply. I hate makeup. Not that I'm against anyone who uses makeup. I feel beauty also starts from within. We can be beautiful, but then have that ugly heart. You understand what I'm saying? Have that ugly heart, that rock heart. You do things like not rebellious as such, but then there are people that do outrageous things out there. So beauty, it's not like your physique, how you look or what, but then it's what's within.
Thelma, how long did you spend in Lagos in Nigeria before you came to South Africa?
I've lived in Lagos for basically all my life.
For all your life. And how old are you now?
I'm 15.
And how long have you been in Joburg?
For like 9 months.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is fascinating. I have so many of my friends from the rest of the continent who often say to me, and by the way, also some of my white friends from Europe who say, I didn't think of myself as white until I spent a couple of weeks in your country. And similarly, I have friends from Kenya, from Nigeria, who say they come to Joburg and they just have the most amazing realization that this black and white thing is such a South African thing. What has been your experience in the 9 months when it comes to the question of race?
I feel like people saying that white people disregard black people, it's sort of like generalizing things too much. Because I have white friends who don't look at me and be like, oh, you're black, so you can't do this, you don't know certain things. So it's basically who you meet and then who that person is. You choose who you want to be, and no one chooses your life for you. You choose how you want to live your life. So if you want to be racist, if you want to disregard other people, it's your own decision.
Okay.
So I feel like those white people who do those things, it's like them, not like everyone else. It's just like the same thing. They say, oh, South Africans are xenophobic. Not everyone is xenophobic. Not every South African is xenophobic. So it's basically what's the type of decisions you make for yourself and for your life. Yeah.
Do you have a view yet? I know it's only been 9 months, so maybe you don't have a view yet. But do you have a view on how we talk about race all the time as South Africans? Do you think we are race obsessed? Is that different in Nigeria? When you are in Lagos, do you ever feel black?
No.
That must be nice. Okay, I also want you guys to weigh in for me, Amanda and Makaziwe. On this question of race, I'm really fascinated. We always hoped that one of the things the youth of 76 were fighting for is a future in which things like race will really become more and more unimportant. It's 41 years later, is race still very important?
Yeah, personally, race for me is not important. I don't think race has to do with how people think. Okay, well, probably it does, but not their intellect, because the same information that a white person will get in a textbook, I will also get it. So for me, race is not important. So yeah.
Okay, you?
Just like Magaziwa, I also don't think race is important. I just think it's an idea that we people have in our minds. Yes, in the olden days, we were oppressed, but yes, you can forgive, but you cannot forget. I just feel like we as the black people are trying to punish the white people of today, whereas it's not like that. We were not oppressed by them. We were oppressed by the olden days. It's time that we forgive. It's time that we settle and live together as one.
Okay, I wish you all the best in corporate South Africa. Let's get back to the audience. I'm loving this conversation. I'm mindful of the time. I'm going to take one last round from you guys. Such a beautiful conversation. I really, really think we should get you guys on my radio show so all the people can listen to your refreshing perspectives. Okay, you are now beginning to stare me down, so we must give you the mic. This gentleman.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to come to the back.
Okay, I'm John Mukwena from Nova Pioneer, and I have something to say. Well, I'm all for female empowerment and equality across all borders. However, the constant need to place blame and have he said and she said accounts is not the way. If what happened puts us in a position where as people, we keep moving backwards when all we've aspired to do is to be in the present, then I don't know. I believe that the past, when interpreted correctly, could help us move forward and progress as a nation. But when it gets lost in translation, it hinders what we've always strived to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can we get a mic right at the back?
All right, good afternoon to one and all.
You have the mic. I wasn't pointing at you. Please keep it very quick.
Okay.
And then pass it to the front, just in front of you.
All right, my name is Mr. Das. I'm an educator from Fred Norman Secondary School. One of the things that I would like to contribute, my colleagues know I don't like public speaking. Basically, when it comes to modern values versus traditional values, I feel that it's funny how we want modern values to be echoed, yet we're still holding on to the traditional view of racism. The gentleman there, this is why I said I had to speak, he basically summed up what is wrong with the youth of today. And as an educator, if I had to make an observation, I would really say that the youth of today have become selfish as compared to the youth of 1976, whereby the protest action was conducted in a manner that benefited generations to come. And this is the problem that we are dealing with. We're dealing with the youth and society, for that matter, that has become very selfish. With regards to the strike and the whole argument of the strike, I think that it was misunderstood. The context in which the strike was taking place is that the point that Ms. Brown wanted to bring forth was that what does a 16-year-old want at a protest action for housing? That 16-year-old should be in the classroom learning. With regards to the lady from Wits, she said, what about the students who do not have access on a daily basis to education? And that again echoes this whole idea of a very selfish society in which we are only concerned about our needs as individuals, and therefore we do not consider the community. The gentleman said it was very frustrating for university students who had to write a paper but they could not go onto campus. Again, it echoes the selfishness of the taxi strike. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Abi Ray. I applaud all the panelists to bring forward to us from human rights to culture to strike and other aspect. I'm the minority in this room as an older man in the sea of young people in this room. I have a question for all of you. How many of you have heard the name Katherine Johnson? Please raise your hand. Who is she? Great. Katherine Johnson is the black lady working for NASA in the 50s, instrumental in rocket launch. So what I bring to here, a global perspective of, it is not about black or it is not about white. It is about believe in yourself. It is about the hope, the future that you can bring to the country and make it great and make the world a better place to live. And the end, I haven't introduced myself. I am born and raised in India. My new adopted home is America, and visiting the country, understanding the culture, and seeing what young South Africa is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll take 2 more remarks, and then we're going to have to close it there, I'm afraid.
Hi, my name is Zonke, and I'd like to touch on a couple of subjects, but I think they're kind of mutually exclusive. I'd like to speak about the race issue, number one. I'm quite young. I'm navigating the working space, and I think it'd be quite naive to say that race doesn't matter, because we are reminded of that on every single day, whether it be at work, whether it be socially. I frequent Cape Town, and you walk in there, and it's like, heaven knows what's just happened, because it's like now you're walking into a space that you're not supposed to be in. I am African. I understand Africa to be a black land, and I don't want to be navigating spaces and feeling as though I shouldn't be there, and we shouldn't have to feel that way. On another note, I'd like to speak to Lisego. Where is he? He's still there. It concerns me gravely that you feel that way, and you're not an isolated person, because these are opinions that a lot of people share. But integral to who we are, as a people, Ubuntu is a very big thing. And just by virtue of that, you shouldn't feel entitled to someone's body. You can buy someone a beer or 2, that's 20 Rand. 20 Rand does not warrant you, having your way with my body. And the fact that you can say that openly in a space like this, in a space that is filled with women, is very disappointing. But again, I'm not looking at you and blaming you, because you learned those behaviors somewhere. With that being said, I'm not going to say the male psyche, but we need to change the way we think. And unless that happens, we're going to continue having, the same incidents that have been unrolling the past couple of months. I feel uneasy. I run. It got to a point where I stopped running because I felt like I wasn't safe on the streets anymore. It's 2017, I can't be fighting every single battle out there and then have to worry about my brother taking advantage of me. People who don't know me. So please, when you look at a woman, look at them. You have a mother. You come from a woman, so you're half woman. We probably have sisters. If another man was to come to your sister and say, I bought you 2 beers, and by virtue of that, you have to come back and lay with me, how would you feel? How does that make you feel? Okay? We all have choices. You know how women roll. She wants to go out and have a nice time. She may not have money at that point, so she'll have her little way with you and do what she needs to get that drink. It's just a drink. When you lay with a woman, you leave your mark on her forever. She can never wash that off. So don't think it's okay to say that. It's not okay. Nothing makes it okay. Whether it be because you feel, for every man, whether it's because you feel like someone took advantage of you, if that's how you feel, walk away. That's a bigger thing to do. People have more respect for you, for walking away. But don't ruin someone's life. I know people who are still in psychiatric care because they've been scarred by people who decided to just do whatever they wanted to do with them. It's not worth it. If you can walk away with that and be okay, don't expect the other person to do the same thing.
Okay, bring the mic here to the front, please.
Thank you. My name is Namaka Nechi.